Welcome to the deep dive. You gave us the sources, and now we're here to give you the distillation. Today, we're diving into a really big one, excerpts from Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist.
Yeah, it's hard to overstate the impact this book has had. It's just culturally seismic, as you said.
It really is. It's inspired millions, but we want to go a bit deeper, look at the philosophy behind it, how it actually works on the reader.
Absolutely. It's perfect for this kind of analysis. Critics called it, what was it, having the psychological intensity of a fairy tale.
Right. And also a bedrock of wisdom about following one's heart. That's quite a range.
It is, and it bridges that gap between, say, literary figures like Nobel winner Kenzaburo Oe and huge cultural icons, Madonna, Bill Clinton, Will Smith. They've all talked about it.
So our mission today is basically to unpack that core idea, the personal legend. We'll trace Santiago's journey and see how the lessons unfold.
And we really have to start with Coelho himself. His own story is almost the perfect prelude.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, he writes in the foreword about how the book first launched in Brazil. And it was a total flop.
Really? The Alchemist?
Completely sold one copy the first week.
Yeah.
6 months later, one more copy. To the same person. His publisher actually dropped him.
Wow. So what did he do?
He basically decided he was living his own metaphor, as he put it. He believed in the book, in his own personal legend as the writer of this book, even with zero external validation.
He kept going.
Kept going, found another publisher, persisted, and then word of mouth just took over. But they ended up spending, over 300 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list?
Incredible.
And translated into over 80 languages. That's the most for any living author. It's like the ultimate proof of the book's own message.
Yep.
Stick with it.
Okay, so let's dive into that journey then, starting with Santiago, the shepherd boy.
Right, but he's not just a shepherd boy. That's key.
He's educated, Latin, Spanish, theology. He studied for the priesthood.
Exactly. And he chose shepherding over the priesthood, specifically because he craved travel. He wanted to see the world, a dream his own father had given up on.
So right away, he's prioritizing experience over security, curiosity over comfort.
That defines him from the start.
And the journey kicks off with this recurring dream.
Yes, while sleeping in that ruined church. You remember the one with the sycamore tree growing right out of the sacristy?
Yeah, symbolic in itself. And the dream.
A child appears, plays with his sheep, then magically transports him to the Egyptian pyramids and tells him there's treasure there.
So an internal nudge. But he looks for outside confirmation first.
He does. He goes to the gypsy woman in Tarifa.
And she just takes it literally. Go to Egypt, find the treasure.
Pretty much. But she also wants a cut, 10%. She puts a price tag on his dream right away.
That's one kind of guidance, but then he gets another kind, much more profound.
Right after. Melchizedek, the king of Salem. This is where the book's core philosophy really lands.
Yeah, this is pivotal.
The king teaches him about the world's greatest lie.
What's the lie?
It's the belief that at a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by fate.
Which feels incredibly relevant today, doesn't it? This sense of being pushed around by bigger forces.
Totally. And the book's answer is, fight back by pursuing your personal legend.
Which the king defines simply as what you've always wanted to accomplish, your unique purpose.
Yes. And here's the really powerful part. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it.
That's the line everyone remembers. It flips that feeling of powerlessness. Suddenly, obstacles aren't stop signs, they're just part of the conspiracy to help you.
Exactly. But the king adds a really crucial warning about balance.
The oil drops on the spoon. I think this is so often overlooked.
Me too. The king tells him the secret of happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon. Meaning, don't get so lost chasing the big dream, the pyramids, that you forget the present moment, your responsibilities, the beauty right in front of you. You need both, the vision and the awareness.
That's a powerful counterpoint to just blind ambition.
It really is. Before he leaves, the king gives him Urim and Thummim.
The black and white stones, yes and no, divination tools.
Right. They have deep historical roots, signifying divine guidance. It's like the king validating the quest.
But he also tells Santiago not to rely on them too much, right?
Exactly. Only use them when you absolutely can't decide yourself.
Yeah.
The real power isn't in the stones. It's in learning to trust your own intuition, your own reading of the omens.
Okay, so Santiago's ready. He's got the philosophy, the stones, he sells his sheep, and heads to Tangier.
Full of confidence, ready to cross the Sahara.
And boom, reality hits. Hard.
Instantly. He trusts someone new, someone who promises to be his guide.
And gets robbed. Loses everything, all his money.
It's the first major test. Does he give up? Does he decide the universe isn't conspiring to help him? That the world's greatest lie is true after all?
But he doesn't. He makes a choice.
The defining one. He chooses to see himself not as a victim, but as an adventurer in quest of his treasure. He accepts the setback as part of the adventure.
That mental shift is everything, and it leads him to the Crystal Merchant.
Ah, the Crystal Merchant. Such a fascinating character. He's almost the mirror image of Santiago at this point.
Because he represents the failure to follow the personal legend.
Precisely. He dreams his whole life of making the pilgrimage to Mecca. It's his personal legend.
But he won't go. Why not?
He's afraid that if he actually achieves the dream, he'll have nothing left to live for. The dream itself, the idea of Mecca, is what keeps him going.
Wow. So the longing is more important than the arrival?
For him, yes. He's protecting himself from the potential disappointment, maybe, or just the emptiness after. His identity is built around wanting Mecca, not having been there.
And Santiago comes in and just shakes things up.
Completely. Full of enthusiasm. He suggests the display case, serving tea in the crystal glasses. Innovations.
And the shop becomes successful.
Hugely successful. Which the book frames as that principle of favorability the king mentioned. Beginner's luck. The universe giving him a little push.
Well, it's through the merchant that Santiago learns about Maktub.
Yes, it is written. Which introduces this interesting tension. If things are written, does that mean we have no free will?
How does the book handle that?
It suggests Maktub isn't about passive acceptance of fate. It's more about recognizing that destiny exists, but you have to actively align yourself with it. You have to choose to participate in what's written for you.
And the merchant is the example of not participating.
Exactly. He sees the blessings, the means to go to Mecca, but ignores them. And Santiago realizes every blessing ignored becomes a curse. He sees it in the merchant's quiet despair.
It's also in Tangier that Santiago really hones his ability to read the world, right? The language without words.
Yes. He figures out how to communicate with the candy seller, even though they don't share a language.
Oh.
By observing, by tapping into something more fundamental than words. He realizes the skills he used, watching his sheep, understanding their needs, the environment applied to humans too. He starts to see the connections, that all things are one, the soul of the world.
So by the time he leaves the crystal shop, he's transformed. He's earned back his money, learned to trade, learned about Maktub, and learned this universal language.
He's ready for the next stage. He joins the caravan heading across the desert.
And meets the Englishman.
The scholar, the intellectual seeker. He's looking for the alchemist, obsessed with the masterwork, the elixir of life, the philosopher's stone, all very complex.
But Santiago, the former shepherd, kind of cuts through all the academic stuff, doesn't he?
He does. He looks at the Englishman's dense books on alchemy and has this insight. He realizes all the complex diagrams and texts are just symbols.
Symbols for what?
For something simpler. That true alchemy isn't about literally turning lead into gold. It's about spiritual transformation. It's about connecting with the soul of the world and pursuing your personal legend. That's how you transform.
And realizing everything has a soul. Minerals, plants, animals.
Yes. That interconnectedness is the key.
This understanding sets him up perfectly for the next big event. Or person.
Fatima. At the oasis well.
Love. He sees her, and it's instant recognition. The pure language of the world. The ultimate omen.
It feels like the destination. Like, okay, I found my treasure. This is where a lot of people might stop their quest.
But the alchemist appears, the guide Santiago and the Englishman were seeking.
Right when Santiago is tempted to settle down. And the alchemist gives him a stark warning.
What does he say?
He tells Santiago what will happen if he stays in the oasis with Fatma and abandons his personal legend now.
Go on.
He says, for a while, it will be fine. Maybe a year. Then the omens will start to fade because Santiago isn't following them. By the 4th year, the omens will be gone completely. Santiago will live with regret, knowing he gave up his destiny. And Fatima will feel the weight of his unspoken bitterness.
Wow. That's brutal. It's about the cost of choosing comfort over purpose.
Exactly. And it leads to that core lesson about fear.
Fear versus suffering.
Yes. The alchemist tells him, tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself.
That's a huge one.
And that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity.
So the pain of the journey is meaningful, divine even, The pain of regret is just empty.
Precisely. That understanding gives Santiago the strength to leave Fatima, promising to return and continue toward the pyramids.
Which leads to the climax, the ultimate test.
They get captured, Santiago and the alchemist caught in the tribal wars in the desert.
And the captors demand the impossible. Santiago has to turn himself into the wind in 3 days. Or die.
Seems like the end, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually the culmination of everything he's learned.
How does he do it? It's not presented like magic, exactly.
No, it's presented as a deep spiritual conversation. He speaks to the desert, then the wind, then the sun. He accesses the soul of the world through love.
He realizes love is the force that transforms and improves the soul of the world.
Yes. And by understanding that interconnectedness, by connecting to the hand that wrote all, the soul of God, he taps into the power that allows the transformation. He performs the miracle by understanding his place within the whole.
He's mastered internal alchemy. He's transformed himself.
And then the alchemist gives him a demonstration of external alchemy.
At the monastery, turning lead into gold.
Right, the masterwork. And he divides the gold into 4 parts, 1 for the monk, 1 for himself.
And 2 for Santiago. Why 2?
1 to replace the money stolen in Tangier, and 1 to replace the gold the alchemist gave the general to secure their freedom. It fulfills that proverb. Everything that happens twice will surely happen a 3rd time. The universe restoring what was lost in service of the quest.
So Santiago finally makes it. Alone now, he reaches the pyramids.
He gets there. He sees them. He weeps. His heart tells him where to dig for the treasure.
And just as he starts digging,
He gets attacked and robbed.
again.
The 3rd time.
It's almost comical, but cruel. They beat him up.
But as they leave, the leader of the thieves mocks him. He says he's not stupid enough to cross a desert because of a dream. Then he reveals.
That he had a recurring dream about treasure buried back in Spain.
Exactly. Buried in a ruined church under a sycamore tree where shepherds often sleep.
The exact spot where Santiago started, the treasure was at home all along.
Mind-blowing twist. The entire journey across the world was to hear those words from that specific person at that specific moment.
So the physical treasure wasn't the point. The journey was the point.
Yeah. Completely. Santiago has to go back to Spain, back to the ruined church. He digs at the roots of the sycamore.
And finds it, the chest of Spanish gold coins and jewels.
The treasure was always there. But he couldn't have found it, or maybe he wasn't ready for it, without the journey. Without the king, the merchant, the desert, the Englishman, Fatima, the alchemist, the omens, all of it.
All the lessons learned, the person he became through the trials, that was the real alchemy. That's what enabled him to finally see the treasure that was waiting.
He had to go all the way to the pyramids to learn where home truly was and what treasure it held. It brings us back to that Narcissus story in the prologue.
Remind us.
The lake weeps for Narcissus after he dies. Not because Narcissus was beautiful, but because, as the lake says, each time Narcissus knelt beside it, the lake could see its own beauty reflected in Narcissus's eyes.
So Santiago's journey wasn't just about finding his treasure.
It was about learning to see his own value, his own destiny, reflected back at him by the world he journeyed through. The treasure was inside, validated by the outside journey.
So the final thought for you, the listener. If the universe really does conspire to help you achieve your personal legend, what treasure might you already possess? What simple truth is right there, maybe back where you started, that you haven't recognized yet?
What small shift in perspective, what lesson learned from your own journey could reveal the immense value already within your reach, just waiting for you to dig?